Full moon fellows and quasar queens. Tighten up your Kuiper belt. Clean out the dark matter from your carpet. And remember, when exploring Uranus, a deep probe should bring up organic matter.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's time to talk Tull to me.
Beep, beep, beep.
We are approaching Uranus.
Welcome back, I am Omen Thomas Sade.
And I'm still Nick McGill.
Together we are Feckless Momes.
And this is Talk Tull to Me.
An untethered spacewalk, dangerously close to the event horizon of prog rock, in which Neutrino Field Nick and Obliquity Omen will focus our massive arrays on every single celestial song that retrograde rock band Jethro Tull has ever off-gassed into our solar system. We will map the constellations of Chrysalis. We will witness David peg a brown dwarf. And we will investigate the depths of Martin Barr's black hole. And if we can interpret the cryptic symbols on this golden space disk sent by the Scotsman of the solar winds, Ian Absolute Zero Anderson, then perhaps we will find out that life does indeed exist outside our solar system, perhaps even on that dirty barren rock, known only as England.
Nobody lives there. Someday someone will move there. They'll be the first. I mean, they're planning on moving people to England eventually. But I say, why not fix up our planet?
We've got so many problems on Earth.
Yeah.
Why bother with England?
Yeah, exactly. Spend the money to fix this planet. Yeah.
Did you catch my David peg a brown dwarf joke?
David Peg. No. I mean, I heard the brown dwarf part.
We'll watch David peg a brown dwarf. We'll watch David peg a brown dwarf. You missed it in time. I'm so upset. This episode is canceled.
We've had this discussion on the Discord before that your mind works at a filth level that just supersedes mine by exponents. Like I can't even process whenever it comes to dirty jokes. I think, it was our newest patron, Thick as a Ralph, is just getting through the War Child. And He was about halfway through, and he's like, Backdoor Angels, guys, come on. And then you made the reference about Backdoor Angels. And I freely admitted, I just, my brain does not work that way. I'm chaste and innocent.
Yes. Well, as we get into the filth of today's episode, what song do we have to look forward to?
So we are in that liminal space in between the two sides, depending on which version of the album you are listening to, which form of media you are listening to. This is track number 7, Astronomy.
Wow, we're sort of on the quantum flip. It depends which side of the record it's on.
Yeah.
Depending on the viewer, depending on the observer.
If you're just on the cusp of being sucked into the black hole, this astronomy, just on the cusp, astronomy is just about to turn into spaghetti.
Yes. Yeah. Well, as we spaghettify ourselves, let's have a listen to this song by, funnily enough, Jethro Tull.
Oddly enough.
Called Astronomy. And Nick, you can't spell astronomy without me.
You can't, though. It's a Y.
Let's have a listen.
Spaghettification begins. You were making quite some faces there. You had a face journey, as the kids say.
This song took me for a trip, Nick.
It's a good song. It's a lot of fun. And it is a journey.
It is a journey.
It's an astronomical journey.
It's a journey of galactic proportions, emotionally speaking.
Yes.
Where do we even start with this? Is this a song that you are super familiar with?
I mean, in so much as I'm familiar with Under Wraps, it's when I listen to the album, it's there. So, I mean, that's really the extent of it. I mean, this album was the one that I was least familiar with.
Sure.
Just by virtue of drum machine synth and spy concept.
You've listened to this album only rarely then.
A handful of times, but it's never been the like, I need to listen to some Tull. Let's jump in.
It's more like a comet that once every 86 years it comes by the orbit of your Earth.
Yeah.
You look at it in the sky, you see its tail. It portends perhaps death.
It's Halley's Comet, yeah.
It's Haley Bop.
It's Haley Bop. Hale Bop. Was Hale Bop was not Halley's Comet, right?
They were different Bop.
Different Bop, different
planet.
Cult, different Kool-Aid.
Speaking of bops, and maybe cults,
This song
is a bop.
I get why both Ian and Martin are like so quick to praise Martin's guitar work in this album.
I know. It's really, really excellent. I mean, just the very first sound that we hear is Martin, again, coming out with a sound that we have never heard before.
Yeah, what is
from
it?
Him.
The slide down the neck, right?
It's a slide down the neck, or rather it's a slide, I think, up the neck and then back down.
Wow.
With some crazy overdrive and maybe some pedal action going on.
Yeah.
It took me a second to realize that it wasn't the synthesizer making those sounds.
Yeah, he's going for it. If you said, well, I mean, I did read it. I read it that both from Ian and Martin that like, oh, this is such a good guitar song. I'm sorry, a good guitar album.
Yeah.
Never in a million years would I have been like, yeah, you know what? It probably is, just because it's so couched in that electric feel. But I think we said a couple of episodes ago that there's a freedom there that allows Martin to really go kind of crazy, and it really is showing. And he's great in the past. He's going to be great in future albums, but there's something really special here.
He's really breaking the laws of Newtonian musical physics.
Non-Newtonian guitar?
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't hold its shape unless you're rocking out with it.
It only exists when it's being played. Otherwise, it simply is non-existent.
Well, would that be more Schrodinger's guitar?
It's string theory, Nick.
Okay.
I have a confession to make.
They do make shots for it, so it should go away quickly.
Goodness. Okay, I have another confession to make.
Okay, go ahead.
I forgot for a couple of seconds that the drumming was being created by a drum machine.
It's crazy hectic enough in a good way. I mean, the first couple of songs off of this album, it's like, go, what's going on? But this one, there's some sort of cohesiveness. There's a cohesion to it that the craziness of all of the different pieces, it doesn't kind of tear you apart in every angle. It all works together to get you to go in one direction. And that allows for the drum machine to fit in fluidly as opposed to it sticking out like a sore thumb.
I agree. I also really think that our ears are adapting to it the more we listen.
I think you're right. I genuinely think you're right. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, there's a couple of other, just amazing details of this song. But overall, I feel like this is Jethro Tull's pop album.
It really is. If you have to classify an album, a Tull album, as pop.
And we never would.
I wouldn't dare to. But if you twisted my arm.
But having said that, we're going to now do exactly that thing.
And that's what it is. Yeah. Yeah, this is quite poppy. Absolutely.
In the best way.
I mean, is it just because we lack the third tier intellect to be able to classify this, so we're stretching for the term here,
No, I think that we are accurately observing with our telescope.
That was good.
Thank you. Treat, please. That a number of pop elements are actually being used in this song.
Right.
And in this album that really haven't been used or haven't been used in the same way so far in the Tull canon. I'm thinking, for instance, of the kind of hiccup.
Oh, yes.
Singing, the sort of astronomy.
Yeah, and his would you classify, this might not fit in a pop feel, but just his vocal ejaculations here that it's not just this song. I mean, he does it all throughout this album, and it's something that I really do love. But in this one, it's really prominent that hup, 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 like in between. It's during the astronomies, it's during the chorus. It's so much fun.
It's, a little bit, and forgive me for making this comparison, but it's a little like Michael Jackson, the king of pop.
Sure, yeah.
In a very, very different way, but it's, it is that technique which we, in this era, are hearing from Michael Jackson.
Was that a question?
When was Michael Jackson really coming to prominence as a solo artist?
Let's see, this is what,
84?
84? Yeah, he's well in the limelight now.
Exactly as I suspected. Also, the PJV on the synth is doing some runs that really fit into the pop rock vibe of the era. Bum, 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 ba-da, ba, bum, 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 bum. Catwalks alone under a big sky. That's less, rock and roll for the Greasers.
Right.
And more kind of like, post-punk, new wave, pre-Club Kid kind of vibe. It's really, really fun.
To go back to Michael Jackson, in 1984, Thriller won 8 Grammys.
Oh, there you are. Exactly.
So there you are, yeah. He was like right at his prime.
Also, speaking of prime, and I'm not talking about the numbers. Ian is singing, we've observed this already, higher.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Than we've ever heard him before. I would say that Ian is really a kind of a baritone with somewhat of a tenor range in general. And he is singing in full tenor territory here.
He's really, really, really pushing it at this point. It sounds great for where it is, but also because of that, I 1000% understand why he ended up kind of blowing out his voice during the tour.
He's at the perihelion of his vocal orbit.
The apogee?
The Icarusonian height.
Yes, he's up there, and unfortunately, the only other way is down.
Parallax. I'm now just reading off of the list of astronomical terms that I pulled up.
That is the godlike embodiment of fear in the Green Lantern story that Sinestro keeps embodied in him.
Oh, I love Sinestro. Yes, also it is the shift of a nearby object against a fixed background due to the movement of the observer.
For the record, Omen was reading off of Wikipedia. I knew my fact.
I am Wikipedia. So, other things that we have in this song, there is in between, speaking of Martin, in between the verse which begins, Miss Galileo, come with me, and the verse which begins, my spectacles, my white lab coat, there is kind of a musical breakdown, and Martin has a 30-second note run.
Yeah.
And that's something that we hear a little bit more, that I associate a bit more with albums like .com.
Interesting.
So it's really fascinating to hear him start to play with that here, and hear that he's already attained this level of hyper mastery and precision.
Yeah. I think I'm going to keep going back to this. He's he's gained a certain freedom here, and maybe he's experimenting. Maybe this is a sound that he has wanted to play with for a while, but it hasn't really fit, and this kind of has opened up for him.
There's also, speaking of the kind of pop element, there is a, if you think about Sting and the Police, what's that song that goes dun 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 dun? Ma. Right, so with Sting and the Police, Don't Stand So Close to Me, there's a certain vocal quality with the harmonies that are high, and it's got this kind of very upbeat bass line underneath, and it is in that same vibe, and especially when we get toward the end of Astronomy, we have Ian going, wow, wow. Not exactly those notes. But you know what I mean? He's doing sort of an oh, whoa, whoa thing, which is very, very poppy.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me want to call him Poppy.
Bye, Poppy.
You know what I mean, though? It's very fun. It's very very upbeat. It's uplifting. It's fragrant.
Yeah, there is a lightness. There is a positivity to this song. I don't know if it's like actually mechanically sound, but there is a point where at about 1:30 when the sound changes a little bit. I don't think it goes from minor to major or anything, but when the As the Cat Walks Alone part, maybe it's just a shift in key or something. Maybe it's just a key change, but it gets lighter and brighter, and it feels happier to me.
Well, one thing that happens is the drum machine doubles its time. So it's going dum, 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 but dum, dum, dum. And then when it changes, it goes daka, daka, bum, bum, dum, 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 dum. So that's a little bit of a technique that is used by musicians and composers to great effect, where you can keep the tempo exactly the same, but by doubling by changing from quarter notes to eighth notes, for instance, or eighth notes to 16th notes, you give the feeling that the song is speeding up and going somewhere and brightening. Yeah. I think they also are adding in another instrument there.
The synth definitely comes in really bright right there. I think that might be it. Yeah.
It's very skillful.
And in that, it's dotted throughout the song as a whole, but in that particular clip we just listened to, we heard some great example of the doubling up of vocals. Mm-hmm. Ian singing, and I think Peggy going up in falsetto even. I don't think it's Ian back there. And it's nice. I really do enjoy. I don't mind it when Ian does his pseudo harmonies, but it really is nice to hear an additional voice in there.
It's great. This song is a standout for me on this album so far, and this album is actually a standout for me in the last several.
It's pretty good. Yeah, it really is. One more note for me, just a little bit further on at about 1:40, we get into kind of the bridge area with Martin just shredding to high hell, but also the synth going on in the background with like this pseudo horn thing going on. I think we mentioned the horns before, but it's silly, but it also sounds really good. It really works, and it gives this era of like 2001 Space Odyssey. It's got an unexplored territory feeling to it. It's a lot of fun. It works. I thought it was There's a Place for Us at first, and then I realized what it was.
There's a place for us. It's space!
Woo!
My gosh. West Side Story in
space.
Space.
Yeah, it's called Star Wars.
West Side Nebula. The jets are actual jets.
They're jets, yeah.
The sharks are super intelligent sharks.
Yeah, they're space sharks.
Space sharks. Yeah. Speaking of space sharks, Nick, anything else to say musically about this delightful, brilliant song?
Just the kind of astronomy call and answer, masturbatory call and answer that Ian does with himself at the very end. Astronomy, astronomy, astronomy. Just back and forth. It's just fun. It's a good way to end. And then it ends with a solid astronomy.
Astronomy, 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 astronomy,
Astronomy. One thing that I neglected to think about saying before I asked you if you had anything else to say.
Go on.
We discussed this a couple episodes ago, but this is one of the only albums where a large number of the songs are credited to more writers than just Ian.
Yeah.
A lot of them credited, partially at least, to Peter John Vitesse.
Yeah.
Vitesse.
With one song to Martin, is that right? Most of it.
That sounds right.
Everything else is PJV, I think, yeah.
I wonder if some of that pop, Ian has described Peter as someone who's really, in this period, really figuring out the future, how to not only how to keep playing this brilliant music, but how to produce it. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if some of this kind of like dragging into the modern era is due to the influence of PJV, due to the collaboration between PJV and Ian.
I think that's what it is. Ian having a penchant for really wanting to try the new stuff, whether it's an instrument or a sound or whatever, coupled with finding the right collaborator in PJV, who also, as you said, and Ian has said, he had a mind for production at that point. He was looking forward to production.
Yeah.
So I can definitely see it's kind of this perfect collection, this convergence of all of these pieces at the right time to get us this specific sound.
Indeed. I like it. I like it.
I'm glad you do. I got it for you.
Thank you. It's not even my birthday.
Nope, special treat.
Nick, let's float over into the observational cupola and take a break.
The Francis Ford Coppola?
Yes.
Okay, let's go. So this week, we have no notes, we have no correspondence. However, we do have a pretty big news update.
Yeah, we do. At the point of release, it may be old news to our listeners, but it is new news to us, and we would like to share our excitement about that news. Oh, look, Nick. I can see my house.
Oh. Wow, it's a lot smaller than I thought it would be.
Yeah, it's small from up here. So
I'm going to spit on it.
The news. Don't roll down the window, whatever you do.
Ah!
The news is, Nick, we had it straight from the social medias of one Ian Anderson and Jethro Tull.
That is correct. Thank you to whatever sweet person dropped this in the Discord. Another advantage to Discord, if you don't have access to social media, or you choose not to have access to social media like I do, our collective shares this kind of news. So that's how I learned about it, which is
kind of a digital
awesome.
Fires of Gondor.
There it is. That's exactly what I would call it, yeah. But as of September 17th, Jethro Tull official Instagram account says, official news in from Warner's Music. This year marks the 40th anniversary of the Broadsword and the Beast album, and we have 2 excellent sets coming your way. Unfortunately, due to some delays in manufacturing and vinyl, they won't be here until next summer and won't make the 40th anniversary. But there's plenty planned before then, so stay tuned. Apologies, but the huge amount of bonus material should make the wait worth it.
Huge amount of bonus material, do you say?
We knew that coming in. We knew he dropped that on... Oh gosh, was it the Left Set's interview last winter or so? He made it wasn't even an illusion. He said flat out, it's at least 10 tracks, about maybe half of which we haven't even heard before.
I feel like we've had unconfirmed, unofficial reports, such as dropping statements in interviews, but this is a bit more. This makes it feel more real.
Yes, absolutely. That it is an officially licensed Jethro Tull blue check mark. Everybody trusts that blue check mark.
Would you like a bag of tea?
Yes. Do I have to eat it?
I'm bringing you straw from across the station, Master Nick.
Did you pack her into carry-on? I don't think we were...
I don't know how she got here.
Wow.
I didn't have a spacesuit, so I just wore all me skirts.
just held your breath?
I've got iron lungs from me grandmother.
That's really impressive, Mary. That's
her grandmother was one of the first beasts in space.
They actually based the aqua lung, the iron lung, on her.
Yeah,
so it's really impressive.
I've got an appointment in Salisbury. I'll be blasting off now.
Wow. Self-propelled. That's just... She's just a one high-class dame.
She's like the water bear of Scots ladies of indeterminate age.
I just imagine a water bear in the Mrs. Doubtfire getup.
Yeah. Oh, and the bag of tea is still hot. Here.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Stick your straw in there.
If we have any artists listening, please send a water bear in Mrs. Doubtfire getup to momes@fecklessmomes.com. Please.
And we will send you a hot bag of tea.
A hot bag of tea.
Nick, any other news as we are floating around in the Intra-Prog Rock space station?
That is it for updates. Let's get into content.
Guess what I've done in my spacesuit during the time that we've been talking?
Oh, gosh. Something with bodily fluids.
It filters it out. That's where we got the tea.
Oh, great. Yeah. All right, we are back from space. We are back on terrestrial podcast territory. We are going to talk content of astronomy.
Astronomy. The middle lane has trapped my car in red light claustrophobia.
Astronomy. Middle lane has trapped my car in red light claustrophobia.
Nick, this is an interesting kind of starting place for this song, that where this song begins and where it ends. You know, you said in the beginning, it's a journey. Wow, is it ever? There's a lot going on with this that I'm excited to unpack.
Yeah, what do you make of this first verse? It's the first steps of this journey, really?
You know, there are several things. It makes me have several thoughts. When one is stuck in traffic, which is, as anyone who drives knows, a pretty frustrating experience.
Correct.
The mind is under pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, with that pressure, we can either choose to become just kind of enraged at the situation, or we can try escapism. You know, for a lot of people, that means listening to podcasts or listening to music or fantasizing about all kinds of things. You know, see, example, Pussy Willow.
Right.
In this case, my immediate dry read of it is this singer is stuck in traffic, and under the tension of the moment, they exit the world and take a little mental trip amongst the stars. But the other thing that this makes me think is about the song Orion.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
Orion from
Stormwatch.
From Stormwatch, not that far back.
No?
Definitely a very different topic, or at least a very different song. But in Orion, you know, the singer kind of removes himself from the day-to-day and the you know, all the social interactions that happen on Earth, and kind of forms this more enduring relationship with the constellations.
Okay.
In this one, I feel like it goes a step farther, where the singer, you know, just completely detaches from the Earth and almost goes on this imaginary journey. I mean, who hasn't thought while you're in traffic of like being able to press a secret button on your car and it turns into a helicopter or a rocket and you blast off? I think about that all the time.
Yeah, that's pretty apt in terms of the spy feel as well. You know, the jettison ejection seat. Yeah.
Even though I do think it's, you know, it's fantasy.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
I slip the shackles, cut the rope, stand naked with a telescope.
I slip the shackles, cut the rope, stand naked with the telescope.
So, yeah, I think going back to Orion is clearly a terrestrial observation. This is that out-of-body experience. He is floating up into space to observe the stars, but it's not as personal as Orion is. It's more of a clinical thing, it feels like. We've got science terms left and right in here.
It goes back and forth. It's interesting. There is a sensuality to this. Stand naked with a telescope.
Quasar at the kissing gate.
Quasar at the kissing gate.
Yeah. Oh, fun little thing. What's a kissing gate? That's a British thing that is not really a thing in here in America. Do you know?
I don't know it. No.
It's a gate that anyone who lives in England would be really familiar with, but it's a gap in a fence where you have one fence piece sort of slotting into two other fence pieces so that a human can go zoop zoop and walk through it by taking this little S-shaped path.
Okay.
But a cow couldn't get through.
Oh, interesting.
Because it can't make that turn.
Yeah. Yeah, their wheels get stuck.
Their wheels get stuck. It's a rear wheel drive cows.
Yeah, it's worth the investment. Get a 4-wheel drive cow.
But also, we have the appearance of a cat in this song, and I have started
A couple of times, yeah.
to learn or associate cat imagery in Ian Anderson lyrics with femininity, sensuality, etc.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Even though the cat is masculine here, it is a male cat. Now the cat, he walks alone under a big sky. There is still that sensuality, though, if for no other reason than the fact that Ian has thus far imbued the cat imagery with that. It's kind of difficult to pull it away from that.
Even, this is maybe a bit of a stretch, but black hole dressing on a salad plate.
Black hole dressing on salad plate.
There's a lot of imagery in there and a lot of words that hint at a kind of sexuality.
I think that might be a play on black dress, even.
Sure.
And if the black dress is on a salad plate, it's not on the person wearing the dress.
Right.
Maybe.
Also, umbrella dome pinpricked with lights.
Umbrella dome pinpricked in lights.
That's, on the one hand, a very beautiful description of a night sky, but an umbrella, you can only see that if you're holding it above yourself, and it sort of creates a space that invites someone else in there.
Yeah, for anyone else to be able to see it, they need to be pressed in there with you.
Miss Galileo, come with me and view the new astronomy.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Galileo, come with me and view the new astronomy.
Yeah, step under my umbrella. Ella,
Interesting,
Ella,
yeah.
A. That's a Rihanna song.
Under my umbrella. Yeah, I know.
Very good.
I know.
You can stand under my umbrella. You can stand under my umbrella. Ella, ella, under my umbrella. Ella, ella,
So the first half of the
I
song,
know who Rihanna is. She does the makeup.
Riri, according to her friends. So the first half of the song is it could be taken out of context. It doesn't terribly fit with our spy feel, but I think we kind of get a bit of a twist once we get into the spectacles and the white lab coat and we get the keys to the secrets of the observatory.
My spectacles, my white lab coat, my coffee thermos, and my notes. I pat my pocket, got the keys to the secrets of the observatory.
I think then we can kind of maybe place this in our spy fiction.
Yeah, there's also, there totally is. Then we kind of get into like Moonraker territory, like we hinted at a couple episodes ago.
Yes, right.
But also, even if you go back to Lap of Luxury, there's this kind of, we talked about Lap of Luxury as perhaps a Pussy Willow-like boring, frustrating life where the person is dreaming of living this, high-paced jet-setting lifestyle of a spy.
Which is the rest of the album.
which is the entire rest of the album.
Yeah.
This is almost that in a microcosm. Where, you have a person stuck in traffic and they're like, oh my god, what if I was a spaceman?
Yeah, maybe he's got Ziggy Stardust on the radio and it inspires him. And maybe this is one of those instances where it pulls us back to remember, hey, this is actually what's happening. It's this guy fantasizing.
Now, speaking of fantasizing, Nick.
Yeah.
I will lead into this theory by telling you something about the French, which you may find interesting.
Very intrigued already. Continue.
At the initial astronomical conference, where the idea of what we call a black hole was floated, the conference happened to be held in France.
Okay.
Some of this story, I assure you, is in fact factual.
I will let you decide what the facts are.
And the translator was being presented, the presenter was presenting in English or German or something. And when they got to the bit about, and now what we have, we've created this model where no light can escape this singularity, and we call it a black hole. The translator translated that directly into French, and the French delegates all were so incensed by this term that they demanded a new term be created for black hole in French. Because if you translate black hole into French directly, un trou noir, it has a hypersexualized connotation.
Interesting.
Which I think you can guess what it means. Butthole.
A bruised hole, like a black eye, right? Like you punched someone.
Well, it might be bruised.
Depends on your Saturday evening plans.
And I know we've already talked about the fact that, my filthometer is much more sensitive than yours.
Right. Mine only goes to 4. Yours has an extender on it to get up to like at least 17. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, my specialty is detecting, the fine modulations in the filth field.
Yeah, exactly.
But I kind of think that this song is about the butt sex, Nick.
So it's Backdoor Angels is what you're saying.
It's Backdoor Angels, but in the universe. And I have several proofs for this.
Okay. I will humor you more than usual. Go on.
I'm going to start from the end.
Hey.
Expand my universe, head for the Big Bang. Reach for my switch and shout.
Expand my universe. Head for the Big Bang. Reach for my switch and shout.
That's clearly naughty. That triggers the 4. I get that on my meter.
I can touch what I see.
I look in wonder, I feel no shame.
I can touch what I can see. I look and wonder, feel no shame.
Yeah, see, I think filth aside, I think this Miss Galileo, I think Svetlana comes back into the picture now at this point,
And maybe
and they're having a tryst, and
in the butt.
Wherever it is that Ian has said, wherever the characters are having sex, it's open to your interpretation.
Even if we go...
That's a paraphrase.
Even if we go to the very first couple of lines, and even before that, we have astronomy.
That's true.
Even if we have the first line, the middle lane has trapped my car in red light claustrophobia.
Astronomy. The middle lane has trapped my car in red light claustrophobia.
Nick, it doesn't take a filthmonger like myself to figure out that perhaps one is talking about PIV intercourse here. I stand naked with a telescope.
Stand naked with the telescope.
But Nick, what does a telescope do?
Extend?
It extends. It extends.
Correct, Nick. It does extend.
It does extend. And he's standing naked with an extended telescope.
And it points up?
It points up to the heavens or
Yes.
to the darkness. I mean, there's so much, Nick, that I just feel like...
Against the dark so thin and white?
Against the dark so thin and white.
Yeah, I mean... I hate to admit it. I begrudgingly admit it, but you're right.
even when we get to the kind of spectacle and lab coat section, it's kind of like, let's say that regardless, and this is where, where I love the work of Ian Anderson and Jethro Tull so much, is because it does, even when it's possibly having these really filthy interpretations, it also works on another level. So, if we do have the bespectacled white lab coat, coffee and thermos going to be up all night, observing the secrets of the universe, kind of the clean side of it, which totally works, and it could very well be.
Mm-hmm.
It also is, if this is a new experience for the singer, doing it in le but, as the French say,
le but,
then perhaps there is that kind of, that like, wow, this is a real experiment. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going into unknown territory here.
I think if this is the case, I do have to give credit to Ian for the multi-layered and veiled poetry, because, like you said, it is not just like talking about wieners and butts, No.
But
it's also like there's plausible deniability here. It's not like AC/DC's "I've Got Big Balls." Like there's like that's
is that an actual AC/DC song?
Yeah, yeah.
It's good for them.
But it is couched in the I'm not saying anything dirty at all. The first verse, well, I'm rather upper-class high society, God's gift to ballroom notoriety, and I always fill my ballroom, the event is never small. The social pages say I've got the biggest balls of all.
Yeah, okay.
And the chorus, I've got big balls, I've got big balls, they're such big balls and they're dirty big balls. And he's got big balls and she's got big balls, but we've got the big... Yeah.
And that is wonderful and beautiful and kind of camp almost.
Yes, exactly.
Wink, wink. Yeah, I'm saying the thing, but I'm saying it in a way that you're in on the joke.
Yeah,
because it's so stupid.
Just barely. You're awake, which means you're in on the joke. You can hear this, so you're in on the joke. Yeah,
right. You have a first grade reading level. But astronomy, if indeed there is this kind of analysis that can be taken with it.
Did you hit that emphasis specifically? Was that?
Did I hit it hard enough?
And I'm just gonna leave the booth. You wrap this one up.
I don't think I've ever seen you so dejected. But you really have to dig for it here. It doesn't leap out at you.
You do, right. Like, I never in a million years would have thought of this. Never in a million light years would I've come up with this.
But once you see it, there it is, staring at you with its one good eye.
Don't just stare at it, eat it.
Sabrina, don't just stare at it, eat it.
To quote American Psycho.
What, with my tongue in your tail? I mean, and that's what's so great about, like the poets like Ovid and, all the really great poets of the world. They say something that is at the same time so brilliantly, celestially gorgeous and also is literally about people's junks.
People's junks.
The junks of the populace.
Yeah. The hoi polloi.
Poo-poo.
Poo-poo. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Nick, anything else to jam into this interpretation, or shall we slide our way out of this conversation?
For my comfort and the sake of this relationship, I think we need to move on.
Let's clench the porthole of this conversation shut and go recover.
Astronomy, 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 astronomy.
Omen, dear Omen.
Nick.
What are we talking next week?
From the hot to the cold, I believe that next week we are talking about tundra.
Tundra it is.
Nothing sexy about that.
Off to the Arctic, unless you got to stay warm in the same sleeping bag as someone else.
Oh.
Body heat. No. Until next week, my coffee, thermos, and my notes say that you should subscribe to our Patreon to get access to 2 additional podcasts a month. Outtake Tultemy and Feckless, a potpourri of chicanery. And, of course, our Discord server, all for the measly price of just $5 a month.
That was great. I have nothing to add.
All right, great.
Until next week, I am standing naked with a telescope, Omen Thomas Sade.
I am against the dark, so thin and white, Nick McGill.
We hope to expand your universe and whatever else you might have, the Feckless Momes.
And this is Slipping the Shackles, Cutting the Rope. Talk Tull to me.
Beginning detached sequence firing retro thrusters. Copy. Lunar module Eagle, do you copy? Lunar module, this is Michael Collins. Lunar module Eagle, please copy.
Sorry, Command Module Columbia. This is Buzz Aldrin coming in. We were just busy playing a game. I just kicked Neil's ass.
Copy that, Buzz. My condolences to to Captain Armstrong. I've got your readings clear here. I see that you are descending toward the lunar surface of a rate of 3,600 meters per minute. Can you confirm with your equipment?
That looks about right. I have to get the tiers out of the way. That's right. Yes, Neil, stop crying. Okay. Yes, we are good to go. We're good to go, Michael. Yep.
Great.
Good.
I have you touching down in about a minute and a half. What's the view like there? Lunar module?
It's actually, wow. It's actually surprisingly lush on the moon.
Can you confirm? Did you say lush on the moon, Lem?
Yeah. Michael, I don't think you're gonna believe this, but it's I see like palm trees.
Copy.
Yeah, it's lush. I mean, there's I guess the sun really does hit the moon, keeps it warm. I mean, there's a pool. I see.
Wow.
Yeah.
Copy pool. I'm experiencing regret right now at not being on the lunar module. I really, it's pretty lonely and cold up here on the command module. Lem, I have you touching down in the next 10 seconds. Please brace for landing.
Bracing, Michael. We are in position. We are holding, and we are ready. Touching down in 3, 2, 1.
Confirm. Did you bring your snacks with you? Because all I have up here is a couple of dried corn kernels. I'm gonna be up here for like 21 hours.
Oh yeah.
Did you take all the ice cream with you? Oh, out.
Yeah, we definitely took all of the ice cream with us. In case we ran into any lunar aliens, we obviously need something to barter with. So,
copy that. Yeah, that's no problem. I'll just eat these corn modules here by myself. Did you check my tape deck as well?
Yes, we absolutely did. We've got this. We needed the energy. We needed the excitement. I mean, we're the ones doing all the work. Let's be honest, Michael.
Copy that. Yeah, I'm gonna just journal about my feelings up here by myself. Lunar module, come in.
Yes, Michael. What?
Did you take my fucking pen? Out.
Well, yeah. How are we going to take notes?
Copy that.
Neil, can you get a load of this guy? He is ridiculous. I cannot believe we got stuck with such a wiener.
Lunar module, your mic channel is still open. Just confirm that I heard all that nonsense that you said.
I mean,
and you know what? Please confirm. I didn't even want to go to the moon anyway. I heard it's stupid down there. Copy. Over.
Oh yeah. These bikini-clad women are just so stupid. So stupid.
I'm having trouble getting your video feed. Can you show me any images of the bikini-clad selenite women down there? Over.
I don't know. There must be something interfering with the camera. I don't know. They're they're very handsy, so they might have like knocked something loose.
Lunar Module, Michael Collins, Captain Collins, I just wanted to confirm that you are a fucking asshole. Out. And also, I have a report coming in from base that you can go and stick it where the solar flares never produce radiation. Over.
Did you get the irony on that, Neil? Like, he's the one on the other side of the moon where he doesn't get it. So,
just confirming that your channel is still open there,
wow.
Captain.
Yeah.
Captain, thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. And you know another thing. Over. Just want to confirm before I go to the dark side of the motherfucking moon up here by myself with these goddamn corn kernels and no frickin' ice cream that Talk Tull to me is a proud member of the audio network.
Wow, that took way longer than I wanted it to. Boy. All right, Neil, let's pick up some rocks, I guess, and what should we tell him when he comes back? They are very handsy. I like that idea. There's like, maybe they bring us our charcuterie board. No, that would be good. I know he likes his salted meats. And, and his mom's here. We can say his mom got here somehow. I know he misses his mom a lot.
Didn't she die like 3 years ago?
Yeah, that'll really do it to him. Yeah.